and determined. These are the gymnasts of the 2003 NCAA championship. Defending champion Alabama looking to strike gold once again. But Jamie Dancher and the well-stocked Bruins have their eyes on a third title in 4 years. And Suzanne Yochlin and the Georgia Gym Dogs also have visions of a title. The nation's top all-arounder, Rochelle Simpson of Nebraska. And Utah's Teresa Kulikowski lead their team's charge while Michigan makes a run for its first title. Who will claim the coveted prize? The 2003 Gymnastics Championships, next. Welcome to the Devaney Sports Center in Lincoln, Nebraska for the 2003 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships. This year's host school, Nebraska, is seeking its first ever national title, and the Cornhuskers actually coming out of the preliminary competition with the highest team score. So naturally, they're among this year's crop of Super 6 teams, along with top-ranked UCLA, defending champion Alabama, Utah, perennial powerhouse Georgia, and Michigan back in the Super 6 after missing the cut last year. Bonnie Bernstein with you alongside 1996 Olympic gold medalist Amanda Borden. And Amanda, let's start with Alabama. Defending champion, yes, but really in name only. Last year's heavy hitter Andrea Pickens is gone, and Kristen Sterner is this year's only senior on a Tide team, overflowing literally with freshmen.
That's right. This is not the same team. They've had a complete makeover, picking up 7 freshmen. But veterans Kristen Sterner and Gina Rice are hoping that with their experience, they can help lead this young Bama team to a repeat. If anybody can stop that from happening, it's the power-packed UCLA Bruins. They're led by Jamie Dancer and Ani Willis, both whom won NCAA all-around titles. But they're also backed by a lot of strength, especially in the new star freshman Kate Richardson. They have a lot of depth, and they have the opportunity to take home their 4th title. Of course, the home team, University of Nebraska, with one of their strongest teams ever, is hoping that with the home court advantage, as well as some help from this year's all-around champion, Rochelle Simpson, that they can pull off an upset and bring home their first ever team championship.
And we go to our first rotation where we have UCLA, the top-ranked team in the country on vault, Utah on bars, Beam belongs to Michigan, Georgia on the floor, Nebraska and Alabama have byes, and there will be 6 competitors on each event. The lowest score will be dropped. Valerie Condos Field, 13th year coaching these Bruins after starting out as an assistant in 1983. Getting set to lead the Bruins off on vaulting, junior, former captain of the Canadian national team, Yvonne Tusek.
Performing a Yurchenko full. Oh, and you can see her left hand actually slipped off, and
very tough way for the Bruins to start off this meet. That's definitely not the way you want your table setter to perform.
Well, she came slow off the board, and as she reached back into the horse, you can see a huge shoulder angle right there, and her left hand actually slipping. And this season with the new vaulting table, this can really affect. You can see right there her feet clipped the horse, which obviously affected the landing.
And UCLA, Amanda, knows, okay, we've made our one mistake. There's no more room for error on this event. And Yvonne Tusek, with that fall, goes 8-5. Greg Marsden, the winningest gymnastics coach in college history, but this year some inconsistency. Utah's 24-year home win streak in the regular season was snapped, and for the first time in school history, Utah actually had a better record on the road than in Salt Lake. But a bright spot for Utah, Annabeth Eberle, who's up now on bars, one of the nation's best all-arounders.
She is so powerful. You can see right here in this release move, great height on her Tkachev.
Sophomore from Reno, Nevada.
She shows great lines right there, shoots a handstand.
And hitting those handstands is very, very important on this event.
Annabeth's doing a somewhat easy dismount for her, double tuck, looking for a stuck landing.
Little step. Annabeth, a 7-year member of the U.S. national team. Father Joe looking on. And for Annabeth Eberle, a 9-8 to get Utah started on bars. Suzanne Yochlin celebrating her 20th year as the head coach at Georgia. It's been a trying season, to say the least. Injuries at times have forced her to compete just 5 instead of 6 girls on an event. Sierra Sapinar, one of those bogged down with injuries.
Well, this has been a never-ending battle for Sierra. She missed out on the 2000 Olympics due to an elbow injury, missed part of the 2001 season and 2002 season, and you can see here in a practice session, she actually blew out her knee.
This was leading up to preliminaries. Sierra has had 6 surgeries throughout her career, and she's about to have number 7. And filling in for Sapinor on floor is freshman Marie Fjordum.
She's a very powerful tumbler. This is her second tumbling pass. Nice double tuck.
Marie comes from a family of gymnasts. All 3 of her sisters compete. Her father was a former Norwegian gymnast, and her mom was a cheerleader for the Miami Dolphins.
Marie won this event at the 2000 American Classic.
She fell on floor, though, in regionals, and it turned out to be one of the worst outings on floor for Georgia the entire season in that meet. No such problems today, however. Setting up for her final pass.
Whip half, front full. Good start for Georgia.
Marie Fjordum, the freshman from Dallas. Georgia faithful on hand. Gym dogs always travel well, don't they?
That's right.
They have one of the best attendance records in the country, as we see Fjordum's score of a 9.85. And now we go to Michigan. Coach Bev Plotke, the Wolverines making their 12th trip to nationals, and probably the surprise team this year at times. Injuries have forced them to use just 7 gymnasts, missing one of their best in Elise Ray.
That's right. Elise Ray is a key player. She was a 2000 Olympian as well as the 2001 all-around champion, but they've really pulled it together, starting off on a very tough event.
Elise had to have season-ending shoulder surgery back in March. As we take a look at Jenny Diley on beam in progress, setting up for her series.
Very solid gainer back handspring, layout, step out.
Michigan freshman represents the future of Wolverine gymnastics, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, also a 3-time Junior Olympic national team member out of Dayton, Minnesota.
She has beautiful lines on this event.
Gym acro series, one of the requirements on beam. You mentioned her lines, Amanda. Jenny's one of the taller gymnasts you'll see.
Back handspring, double full. Very nice dismount with solid landing.
She stands at 5'5", but because of those lines, she looks even longer. Jenny getting Michigan off to a solid start on beam with a 9.8. And here we have yet another fab freshman. This is UCLA's Kate Richardson. She is such a spark plug. She's only 5 feet tall, Amanda. Her teammates call her Peanut, fittingly.
She is tiny, but she has a lot of power. This team is so balanced. They have spectacular veterans and quality newcomers like Kate. She's performing a Yurchenko full, great height off the horse.
You see how she just opens it up at the top. Small step on the landing, but still, after a rough start, UCLA back on track on vaulting. With a 9.9 for Kate Richardson, and we're just getting underway in Lincoln.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship is sponsored by Singular, the wireless company that fits you best. Vanilla Coke, smooth and intriguing, like we said. And by the new Pontiac Grand Prix, fuel for the soul.
Michigan's Elise Ray was the 2001 all-around co-champion. Ani Willis was the other, and she's brimming with confidence about her team.
It's really encouraging to have the depth on our team that we have this year, and it's motivating, and it's also comforting. It's nice to know that if you're really tired that day, or your ankle's really sore, or you really can't do it, that there's someone who's just as prepared and just as talented who's ready to step in and go.
And she stepped in her entire career for UCLA. Has Ani Willis up on vault now.
She's so powerful. Beautiful Yurchenko full.
Nailed it. Family looking on. And talk about the model of consistency. Ani has nailed every single one of her 41 routines, and I guess we can make it 42 on that one, Amanda. 9.875. Keeping it going for UCLA. Let's pick up Georgia now on floor. Junior Corey Fritzinger.
This is her second tumbling pass, 2.5.
Corey made an immediate impact freshman year when she was an All-American on vault, beam, and floor. And at this point in the year, Amanda, everybody's battling injuries. If you look at Corey's right leg, she's wearing an air cast.
Well, this is the event that having ankle and leg injuries can really cause problems. She's done a great job, though.
And you know what gets you through at this point? Adrenaline.
Adrenaline, that's right. This is a great event for Corey. She's very dynamic. She loves the crowd.
The Virginia Beach native setting up for her final pass.
Performing a double full punch front. Nice landing.
Corey Fritzinger is a huge NASCAR fan, and she says the late Dale Earnhardt and his son Dale Jr., her two favorite drivers. Corey in the driver's seat here, obviously, with a 9.85. We're getting word of a little bit of trouble on bars. However, Utah hitting a snag. Veronique Leclerc, Amanda, struggling with her release move, going 9.35.
Let's take a look at her release right here, performing a pike kegger. She pulls into the bar, catches her feet, and has to take some extra swings. It wasn't just that she clipped her toe, she completely caught her whole heel, and she's lucky she didn't flip back off the bar.
No room for error now, and Greg Marston knows that, but he looks to the calm, cool, collected Teresa Kulikowski, who puts winning a championship into perspective.
Winning a national championship or winning a title, it makes you excited at the time, but I don't really think it makes you a happier person overall. Everybody's going to wake up the next day and go on with their lives. So I think it would be an amazing experience, but at the same time, I think we just want to go in and enjoy ourselves and make the process worth it.
You read between the lines, though, and you still know way deep down inside she really wants that ring.
Well, this is her last collegiate competition. She has beautiful lines on this event.
Won bars at regionals.
Beautiful Jaeger. She casts back up. Shoot to handstand. Oh.
Looks like her right shoulder might have popped out. She's had a bunch of injuries this year. Rib, broken finger, and back problems, and really an injury-plagued career for that matter. Our father, Tom, in the stands. Can't even imagine being a parent having to watch that.
Take another look at her shoot to handstand. You can see her feet shoot up a little bit too high, just carrying her over the bar, and as she catches in a handstand, the weight of her shoulders is pushing down, and you can see that little bit of twerk on that right shoulder.
Teresa only competing bars and beam in this meet because of injury. She won both of those events at regionals, but if this is a bad injury, definitely not the way Teresa Kulikowski wants to end her career at Utah. Personally devastating for Teresa, but for the team, now having to count Veronique Leclerc's 9.35 could put him out of this meet. Switch over to beam now. Michigan junior Callie Riles looking solid. All-American last year on this event, as well as floor and all-around.
Shows great flexibility right here.
Amanda, how tough is it for a team, particularly a thin team the way Michigan is, to start on balance beam?
Well, for some teams, it's a great feeling to get one of the toughest events out of the way. But as a former athlete, I can also tell you it's very difficult. You have a lot of adrenaline, you're excited for the competition, and you have to get focused right off the bat because there's no room for error. Callie does a very difficult dismount. Round off double tuck. Great landing.
Small hop, and she nailed that punch front in there too. So the nerves apparently not getting to Callie Riles. Hug from Coach Bev. And a 9.875. Getting things going for Michigan on beam. Back to vault now. Jamie Dantra, the 2002 vaulting champion. And like her teammate Ani Willis, Jamie has hit every single one of her routines this year. Very, very solid performer. Former U.S. Olympian in the 2000 games.
Performing Yurchenko full. Slight hop in the landing, but unbelievable power off the horse.
Jamie's had 2 10s on this event this year as we look at her dad, John, who's in a serious car accident a couple years ago, but able to be on hand today to see his daughter get a 9-9 on vault in UCLA after some early trouble. Pretty much flawless on vault the rest of the way. Chelsea Bird now on floor, the junior out of Little Rock, Arkansas, for the Georgia Gym Dogs.
This is their second tumbling pass. Fly spring through the front half, layout step out, showing great amplitude and form.
As they say, Amanda, she's got hops. Very, very powerful legs.
Well, it's not only helpful on tumbling, you can see right here on her gym macro, great height on the jumps.
And Chelsea's been getting a lot of national media attention this year because for the first time in her career at Georgia, she's competing all around. She was doing 3 events up until this year and then added beam to her repertoire. It was the one event when she came into Georgia, she just didn't have that confidence level, but Suzanne Yockland really worked on it with her, and one of the best all-arounders in the country now.
Beautiful double pike at the end. Talk about endurance. That's a hard tumbling pass to finish your routine with.
The co-SEC Gymnast of the Year, Chelsea Bird. She's won floor all but once in her 13 meets, and it's really not too hard to see why. Georgia on floor, solid and consistent in its first event. Chelsea Bird with a 9-9. Different story, however, for Utah, taking a fall and losing Teresa Kulikowski.
Show what we got, guys. This is where we shine. Come on. We can do it. These next 3 are with or without ability, we can do it.
So after a bit of a rocky start, UCLA leading the way after the first rotation. Time now to introduce the third member of our team, Darren Horton, who's with Michigan's coach.
Beverly Plotke, you have to be happy. No one ever wants to start on beam, but what a start.
I'm very excited. You know, our goal for tonight was to hit 24 routines, and we're on a great start for the first 6.
How about only 6 scholarship athletes to get you to the Super 6?
This has been an absolutely amazing season, and I have never been so proud of a team before, and I just really want them to enjoy this experience because they have worked really hard and been through a lot this season, and I'm just thrilled that they're here.
Well, what a way to begin.
The defending champs marching on. Alabama straight ahead, and the hometown team, Nebraska, tries to claim its first title when we come. Rotation 2 has Georgia on vault, the hometown team, Nebraska on bars, Utah on beam. Alabama begins its title defense on floor. UCLA and Michigan are taking a breather, and Nebraska coach Dan Kendig enjoying his finest season as the Huskers head coach, hoping the home crowd could give him a little extra hand.
If Nebraska starts out on their first event like they should and hit their first routine and the crowd gets behind them and that momentum just keeps building and picking up, I think there's no question that can be a real plus for us, and that's what we're hoping for.
Nebraska holding the number 2 ranking and the highest team score coming out of prelims. And this is a fan favorite right here. Senior A.J. Lamb, the Lincoln native, able to close out her career at home, starting on the bars.
She has gorgeous form on this event. You will never see her feet separate as she's swinging backwards. Giant full. Giant 1.5. Right to her release move, Ginger.
Again, hitting that handstand. Dan Kendig says she has just handled the pressure of competing at home beautifully.
It's a beautiful dismount right here. Double layout. Beautiful landing.
Parents Dave and Janelle, former Husker Alicia, her sister, taping in the front row. Wonder how many extra tickets she had to get for this meet. And A.J. Lamb, 9-9 on bars for Nebraska. Brittany Spith up next for Georgia. Brittany, one of 4 Texans on this Gym Dog squad this year.
Performing Yurchenko Arabian. Very difficult to land because it's a blind landing, but she did a great job of keeping it in control.
Brittany, a 3-time member of the U.S. national team, with a 9.825. Sarah Patterson, 21st straight trip to nationals for her Alabama team. The Crimson Tide, of course, the defending champions. Up on floor, and this is junior Gina Rice, 8-time All-American for the Tide.
This is their second tumbling pass. Whip right to a 2.5, very difficult.
Gina named SEC Co-Gymnast of the Year, along with Chelsea Bird, who you saw on floor not too long ago. And talk about gymnastics lineage, Amanda. Her mom, Joan, was on the '72 Olympic team. Her father, Bob, competed for Temple, and her mom and her stepdad coached her in club down at Ace Gymnastics in Florida.
And she also is actually a judge, so I'm sure she's helped with some technical aspects,
right,
too.
So I guess playing soccer for Gina wasn't really an option.
One more tumbling pass to go. Whip right to double full.
Beautiful routine by Alabama's Gina Rice. Gina, along with Kristen Sterner, really the veteran nucleus of this team with 7 freshmen. And Rice with a 9.875. But over on beam, things just going from bad to worse for Utah. Britt Hoffman, one of the several international gymnasts for the Utes, with a 9.35, Amanda.
She struggled on her tumbling series, back handspring layout, and you can see she's completely off to the side, no hope of staying on.
So Greg Marsden knows fall on bars, one more slip on beam, and Utah might be done for the day this early on. Senior Kim Allen closing out her career at Utah certainly doesn't want her career to end on a down note.
She struggled on this event in prelims. And she's got the added pressure of a teammate falling, but she's also got mental pressure because she cannot doubt herself and she cannot be thinking about what happened in prelims. She has to take it skill by skill, getting ready for her series. Round off layout. Oh no.
Sometimes that pressure you talked about is just too much. And at this point, with Utah having to count a fall on bars, now a fall on beam, safe to say the Utes' pursuit of a championship's over. Over to bars, we're getting ready to watch this year's all-around champion, Rochelle Simpson.
She's the only Husker to win a national title.
Aside from
Heather Brink.
There you go, who is the 2000 all-around champion. And what an all-around performance this was for Rochelle. She goes to floor, 9.95. And then a nearly flawless Yurchenko full for a 9.9.
And her beautiful form on bars earned her a 9.9. And she just edged out Jamie Dancer, scoring a 9.925 on the beam.
It means a lot to me just because I'm representing my school and Heather. And I mean, Heather was an amazing gymnast, and I'm just really honored to have gotten the same thing that she did.
Rochelle, a Toronto native, transferring here last year from Penn State.
Beautiful giant full, right into another giant full. Switching directions as she shoots over to handstand. Gorgeous handstand there. There's a release move, Ginger. All she has left is a dismount, looking for a solid landing. Wow.
That was a stick. And Heather Brink in the stands, ecstatic about her successor. Rochelle, since coming to the Huskers, has torn up the record books on every event. She goes 9.95 here. And Nebraska getting off to precisely the start they're looking for. Well, Alabama's Ashley Miles has already had 110 in these championships. Can she get another? And the 2001 vault champion hits the runway. Georgia's Corey Fritzinger when we come back. Get complete year-round sports coverage and check out college football's Spring Top 25 at CBSSportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline. Alabama, your reigning champs, and Tide coach Sarah Patterson in her 25th year. This year becoming just the 6th woman ever inducted into the State Sports Hall of Fame.
was probably one of the most memorable evenings of my career, other than winning the national championship. And while it was my name that was inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame, it was the accomplishments of David and I over the past 25 years. And to know and be recognized throughout the state of Alabama for those accomplishments, I think is something that I will remember for the rest of my life.
Sarah said, in a state so dominated by football, it's amazing to be among the likes of Bear Bryant and Bo Jackson and Packers Hall of Famer Bart Starr. Great, great honor for her. Kristen Sterner, the lone senior on an Alabama team with 7 freshmen.
She's performing to music from The Cutting Edge, music that my teammate J.C. Phelps used in the 1996 Olympic Games.
And caught on, and countless gymnasts have used this music since.
Opening with front through to double pike. Great landing.
I remember in the routine where J.C.'s snapping here. You remember that? Kristen, the ultimate student athlete. She's both an athletic and an academic All-American. Biology major, planning on heading to med school after graduation.
Front tumbling pass, Rudy to lay out, step out.
And Sarah Patterson loves this young woman. She says, whenever I go out recruiting, I'm always looking for the next Kristen Sterner. She says she's the most even-keeled gymnast I've ever worked with. Never too high, never too low. You don't find a lot of gymnasts like that.
You don't, and that makes a great competitor. Being able to handle the pressure. One tumbling pass to go. Ending with a very difficult double pike. Slight hop on the landing there, but she stayed in bounds.
Kristen, of course, leading by example on the apparatus, but because she's the only senior, was really forced into a vocal leadership role, which Sarah said she was a bit uncomfortable with at first, but really grew into that role and savored it. And a 9.875 for Alabama's Kristen Sterner. Meanwhile, Nebraska's starting to struggle. This is a former member of the Tide who transferred to Lincoln this year. Tiffany Bird having a rough go of it on bars, Amanda.
Right here on our Tkachev. Great height, just too far from the bar.
And this puts some unwanted pressure on the girl on deck, Tammy Harris, especially after what happened to her in prelims. And I warn you, this is not for the faint of heart.
Performing a double layout. She pulls into the bar and catches her shins right there.
You could hear it. That's how loud it was.
Yeah, not just clipping her toes, her complete shin right there. Was able to tuck her head under, so she was safe on the landing, but let me tell you, that's gotta hurt the shins.
They took Tammy to the hospital just as a precaution to make sure there wasn't any type of infection or anything. But before these finals, she was out in warm-ups doing it. Didn't look particularly tentative, although still pulling in a little bit.
You talk about a mentally tough athlete coming back out, performing that dismount the day after that happened. Unbelievable.
One of the hardest things is to be able to crash like that and completely block it out again.
That's right, and taking it skill by skill, starting with giant full. Oh. Looks like she might be thinking a little bit ahead, something that she's probably never messed up on.
And Dan Kendig just stepping in, try to calm her down, get her back in focus.
You can see she places her hand on the bar and doesn't quite have a good grip. Her right arm bends and she just loses form and doesn't make it over the bar.
So now Nebraska has to count a fall.
And she still has to finish this routine.
She's still got a release move, yeah.
Including the dismount that she struggled on in prelims. She has to repeat it again right here. Giant full. Got that down right into a reverse hecht. Oh, no.
So now you start wondering two things, Amanda. A, can Nebraska as a team solidify, get back in this? But also, as far as Tammy's concerned, she's an all-arounder. She still has 3 events to go. And do you let her go? As we go to Corey Fritzinger on vault for Georgia. 2 years ago, Corey won this event at Nationals.
Yurchenko Arabian, you can see that step on the landing. These blind landing vaults are very difficult.
Cliff and Gail, dad and mom looking on. Of course, that landing probably doesn't help too much either with that air cast, but Corey still going a 9.8. Solid performance for the Gym Dogs. Ashley Miles, the Alabama freshman really in name only, especially on this event. She scored a perfect 10 in regionals to win the floor exercise. And Sarah Patterson said, and I'm quoting, "Without question, Ashley is the most powerful athlete she's ever coached."
Well, and that's some high praise considering that Andrea Pickens was a part of this team last year.
Yeah, and she said Andrea has power, but nothing like this.
She is outstanding tumbling as she gets ready for her second tumbling pass. Tumbling forwards, front full, front layout, perfect landing.
And here's something else to keep in mind. Ashley's almost 5'8", and Sarah was saying a lot of girls that tall can't control themselves and they go out of bounds. But Ashley has the control. She's not taking one OB deduction the entire season.
Well, not only that, being taller makes it much more difficult to completely get your body. I saw that. To get your body completely around, she ends with a very difficult tumbling pass, double pipe, great height, and great landing.
No surprise why this is Ashley Miles' favorite event. I think she likes trampoline too, since she wanted to put that seat drop in there.
This is her first tumbling pass. You talk about power. Beautiful double layout. Great form. And look at that landing. Unbelievable, not a step.
Feet together. Doesn't move. Ashley Miles at 9.95, the freshman out of San Antonio for the Crimson Tide. Back to Georgia on vault. Chelsea Bird, another power-packed gymnast.
Performing the vault of choice, Yurchenko full. Great height. Beautiful landing. That's a 10-0 start value. And she had very little deduction.
She's had 2 perfect 10s this year, most recently at SEC Championships. Almost perfect this time around, the 9.95, as Georgia stays firmly in the hunt for this year's title. Nebraska, however, not quite as fortunate, having to count a fall on bars. Off to a bit of a shaky start as we take a look at the standings after 2 rotations, brought to you by Coca-Cola. Georgia and Utah, the only 2 squads with 2 events completed. But as we take a look at the averages, Alabama with a slight edge over UCLA. Let's head back down to Darren, who's with Suzanne Yocklin, the coach at Georgia.
You got 2 of your strongest events out of the way, and you're in good shape right now.
We are, and you know, we wanted to get some momentum at the beginning. Yesterday we had to start on our 2 more difficult events and never got the momentum going. So it feels a lot better today to not be trying to scrap and climb out from being behind.
You have so many injuries, but you've said all along, an injured dog is a dangerous dog.
Yeah, I mean, in practice, that seems like it works, and it helped us with the 1999 National Championship when everyone was injured. But I don't know, they're hurting pretty bad, but I think they can hang on.
Still lingering out there in the future is that beam. How do you think about that?
Well, we did so poorly on it yesterday. Our team really feels like they have nothing to lose, and I think we'll have a really great beam today.
When we come back, top-ranked UCLA standing by on bars, and Alabama heads to vault after this message and a word from... Welcome back to Nebraska's Devaney Sports Center, site of the 2003 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships. Let's check in with Darren Horton.
Well, doctors say Teresa Kulikowski has a sublexed right shoulder, basically a dislocation of her right shoulder. So the 14-time All-American's career comes to an end with an injury. She had fought so many injuries throughout the regular season with a dislocated rib, and she had a broken finger. And what a sad way for this 3-time NCAA champion to end her career.
Darren, thank you. And Teresa, one of those gymnasts with an injury-plagued career who you just wondered if she didn't get hurt, how decorated a gymnast could she have been? Let's take a look at rotation number 3. Alabama on the vault, UCLA on bars, Nebraska on beam, Michigan on floor, Georgia and Utah with buys. UCLA coach Valerie Condos Field, Ms. Val as her gymnasts call her, has taken UCLA to its only 3 national titles, and she is stacked this year on bars. Jamie Dancher and freshman Kate Richardson sharing the national bars title.
Jamie showing great difficulty. Both of them earning a 9.9. And her teammate Kate having an immediate impact, something her veteran teammate has embraced.
I'm excited for little freshman Kate to win beam, and then if I have to share anything with anybody, I want it to be one of my teammates, and I'm just really excited. Kate, as a freshman, come in and take 2 events. It's great.
UCLA with a firm stronghold on bars. Yvonne Tusek, who we'll see in a little bit, the 2001 bars champion. And this young woman will be swinging for the last time in a Bruins Leo. Donnie Thompson, and bars is her forte.
This is the only event she's competing in this competition. Starts right off. Getting ready for her release move. Beautiful Tkachev. Great height as she transitions into a straddle back handstand.
And for not having competed a whole lot this year, Donnie went 9-8 in prelims. Looking clean today. Small step on the landing. Donnie's story pretty well known. She was burned out and left the sport for 3 years before becoming an All-American as a high school diver and then coming back. And a 9.825 for Donnie and the Bruins. Let's pick up AJ Lamb now in progress on beam for Nebraska.
She is so solid on this event, starting with that gym series.
You just can't say enough about her form on every single event.
From her flexibility, very nice switch side, down to the beam as she back hip circles, all the way through to her feet. You can see beautiful toe point.
AJ, a business administration major, earning Big 12 academic honors. She still has 1 year of school left, even though her eligibility is done, so she will be one of the team's managers next year.
She'll be dismounting off the side, gainer full, perfect landing.
I think her dad, Dave, kind of likes that, huh?
I think so.
Good thing he's not one of the judges. It might be a bit biased. And you really have to give Nebraska credit. After stumbling on bars so far, they've been able to pull it together on one of the most difficult events. Nice and clean, 9-9 for AJ Lamb. Gina Rice now on vault for Alabama, the first team All-American this season, doing the ever-popular Yurchenko full.
Beautiful height. Wow, excellent landing. She didn't move, proving that she really nailed that vault.
Now, is this a vault with everybody doing it you see being devalued down the road because it is a 10?
Well, there are athletes out there that can do a more difficult vault, but why when that's a 10-0 start value? You can earn a score like a 9-9.
Which Gina Rice received. Michigan freshman Becca Clausen on floor, setting up for a pass from St. Paul, Minnesota.
Very solid double pike.
Becca's actually got a great story. Michigan was her dream school. Bev Clocky wasn't able to offer her a scholarship initially, but then one of the girls who committed reneged, and all of a sudden there was money, and you had an elated Becca Clausen.
Well, and this is a great event for her. She was the 2000 Junior Olympic national champion, ending with a full front tuck.
Becca Clausen, a high score this year on 3 events for the Wolverines, and Bev Clocky says she sees Becca someday being a consistent all-arounder for Michigan. And a 9.85 for Becca on floor. Next up on vault for Alabama, Alexis Brion, sophomore from Virginia Beach, and Alexis has a surprise visitor at this meet. Her father, Dan, surprised her, coming all the way from Pearl Harbor. He's an executive officer of a nuclear submarine there. She had no idea he was coming. It's got to be a great surprise for her.
Alexis is performing a once typical vault, front entry, handspring pike front half. Beautiful. With the new vault, we've been seeing a lot of Yurchenkos, a vault that at one point wasn't even allowed in college, but it's good to still see the front entry vaults.
Alexis' dad, glad he made the trip. And Alabama staying right with UCLA as Brion gets a 9.875 on her vault. Pac-10 Freshman of the Year, Kay Richardson, now up on bars.
Again, beautiful form, giant full, right into Tkachev. Oh, it looked like she had her hands over the bar. I don't know what happened there.
It looked like her wrists actually hit before her hands did.
You can see right here, over the bar, just not quite enough grip on the bar to hold on.
That's not something you're going to see very often from Kate Richardson, consistent performer for the Bruins. But once again, the bar's wreaking havoc with teams, and UCLA now under the gun. They've opened the door for teams like Nebraska, Georgia, Alabama to get right back in this thing.
Very nice double layout, holding on to the landing.
A good comeback after suffering a very rare fall for Kate Richardson. One more look.
Again, great height on the Tkachev, and you can see she actually didn't quite extend her arms enough, and again, not having a good enough grip.
So now is UCLA in trouble, the top-ranked team in the land, as we look at Kate Richardson and a 9-2. Still plenty more to come. Can Jamie Dancher dig UCLA out of its hole on bars? All-around champion Rochelle Simpson takes to the beam. And Super Frosh Ashley Miles on vault for Alabama when we come back. Coming up next, CBS coverage of the PGA Tour heads to New Orleans for final round coverage of the HP Classic. Injured Bruin Kristen Maloney looking on from the stands, as does former UCLA sensation Sharon Shapiro, who in 1980 became the only gymnast ever to sweep the all-around in all 4 events in one championship meet. Very, very close with Val Condos Field, who understandably is a bit concerned at the moment with Kate Richardson falling on bars. She knows everyone else in the rotation has to hit from here on out. Jeanette Antolin, certainly no exception.
She knows how to handle the pressure. She was a 1999 World Championship team member. And what I like about Jeanette is she has a lot of difficulty. You can see right there, beautiful Jaeger out of an inverted giant.
And that's one of the things you find with these elite gymnasts now, where they tend to, when they get to college, water down their routines. Jeanette not among them.
Beautiful double layout. Great comeback for UCLA.
And Jeanette, after competing mostly vault her freshman year, has gradually developed into a great all-arounder. Sharon Shapiro approves. As do the judges, a 9.925 for Jeanette Antolin. Kristen Sterner next up on vault for the Tide. She'll be doing a Yurchenko Arabian. Amanda, this is one of those vaults with the front landing you talked about. Very difficult to stick.
She needs enough rotation, and you can see she did not get her feet underneath her enough and sat it down.
Interesting to note, Amanda, all of the major players in this meet so far have either had falls or had to count them.
Well, let's take another look. On a front landing vault, it's important to get your feet completely underneath you, if not behind you, right there, they're in front of her, and just not enough time to stay on her feet.
Nebraska and Utah having to count falls, UCLA and Alabama knowing they must be clean from here on out. Back to bars, where Yvonne Tusek, we mentioned earlier, the 2001 national champion, All-American this year on the unevens.
Beautiful back upright handstand. Right into a pike Jaeger.
Yvonne been sort of a big sister to Kate Richardson, helping her adapt to college life in the United States. The two were teammates on the Canadian national team, and with Yvonne being a few years older, always gave Kate advice then and has continued to do so now.
Set a very solid routine. Nice double layout, slight hop on the landing.
And Kristen Maloney looking on from the stands. They're very tight with security at these championships. Each team's only allowed to have 15 gymnasts on the floor. UCLA a fully stacked squad, so Kristen Maloney's stuck up in the cheap seats as we see Yvonne Tusek going 9-9. Shift over to floor will Michigan's Janessa Greco. Lone senior for the Wolverines. Coming out of prelims, had one of the top all-around scores.
And this is one of her strongest events, posting a season high of 9.975.
She is a co-captain for Michigan along with the injured Elise Ray.
Getting ready for her last tumbling pass. Ending with a whip, immediate double full.
Janessa finishing up her schoolwork in kinesiology, but ideally she'd like to be an athletic director. She's thinking about going to grad school, but she's got some entry-level opportunities in athletic administration she's hoping to take advantage of upon graduation. And a 9.875 for Michigan's Janessa Greco. Back over on vault, Alabama hoping to close out the event clean after an early fall. Ashley Miles, you never want to say guarantee, but considering the fact she notched a perfect 10 on this vault in prelims, pretty safe to say.
The ever so popular Yurchenko fold done to perfection. But for those who thought it was a fluke, she repeated in the finals. Having to perform 2 different vaults, she stepped up the difficulty in the second vault, doing Yurchenko 1.5.
She is our exclamation point on the end of our vaulting and floor exercise lineup. There's no place to put her but last because everything she does is bigger than everyone else. And when Ashley goes, she lands with the exclamation point.
Let's see if she can put an exclamation point on this vault rotation for Alabama.
Although she can do the 1.5, she's opting for the full for the stick. You can see, great vault, but a hop on the landing.
You hear the crowd chanting 10.
I think they have some high expectations from Ashley.
I think their expectations are a bit too high with that hop on the landing.
Let's take another look. She has great power coming off the horse right here. Great height, just a little too much rotation.
And that's something Sarah talked about because she has so much power. They did a lot of landing drills with Ashley this year. That one hop resulted in a 9-9. Alabama still finishing out vault clean after that early fall. As we head back over to bars and talk about somebody who knows a little bit about perfection, Jamie Dancher of UCLA's 19 10s this year. She's got 10 of them, 27 total in her career, but if you break down this season, 5 on floor, 2 on vault, and 3 on the uneven bars, which she's preparing for as we speak.
She starts right off, 2 big release moves. Up to the high bar, immediately back down with a pack salto. Again, beautiful form.
You'd never know Jamie was out almost a month. Leading up to regionals, in fact, she was out for 7 meets between ankle injuries and a severe sinus infection. Her first meet back regionals, she won it all.
Gorgeous routine. This could be another 10 that she gets to add to that list.
What do we say, 27, right? 27 career, looking for 28 perhaps. Yeah, we talked about Ashley Miles landing on vault. Clearly, Jamie stuck this dismount.
Beautiful full twisting double back. Spots the landing right there, is able to open up and dig into the ground.
Well, if you can't get a 10, I guess a 9.95 is good enough. Big picture, though. This really wraps up things nicely for UCLA after that Kate Richardson fall. Heading back over to Beam, where Nebraska's got Rochelle Simpson in progress.
Beautiful flight series. Moving into her. Jim Macro. Slight balance check there on the aerial.
She went 9.95 to win this event for Nebraska in the South Central region. Came into this meet with the highest all-around average in the country. Dan Kendig was saying he was just recently looking at Rochelle's recruit tape, and he was amazed at how much her form has improved since she came over to Lincoln from Penn State.
And you can see on her extension, her toe point, her flexibility as she moves into her gym series. Switch leap, wolf jump.
Leap series, one of the many requirements on balance beam.
The only requirement left is a dismount.
Yeah, she's got to get off somehow.
Round off double full. Not letting those feet move a bit.
You know, stop before saluting just to say, I stuck the landing. You can't take anything off for it.
Well, we see a lot of athletes hopping out and trying to fake it and salute the judges. That's a great sign to say, look, perfect landing.
A 9.925 for Rochelle Simpson, and so Nebraska puts a bad day on bars behind them for a solid beam. UCLA still in first place, but Miss Val trying to rally the troops.
You need to be aggressive, and you need to focus all that aggression exactly where you want it. No nonsense. No doubt, ladies. No doubt, no nonsense. United we stand, Bruns. 1, 2, 3. Go, Bruns!
And so UCLA is on top at the halfway point as we take a look at our scoreboard, brought to you by Singular Wireless. Let's now check in with Darren, who's with Alabama coach Sarah Patterson.
There was so much talk about UCLA coming into this championship, but you guys have acted like the defending champions. What momentum you've gained at the beginning?
Well, I'm very proud of our team. Vaulting and floor XSRs are two of our better events. We just felt like if we could come out and get the momentum going, it would carry us throughout the meet.
Looming still out ahead is, of course, that beam. You're going to have a good performance if you're going to pull the upset against this dominant UCLA team.
Well, you know, we drew this rotation at the regional championships, and we rocked. It's the rotation we won the national championship from last year, so I have great confidence on our ladies.
Still ahead, UCLA returns to the site of some troubles in prelims, and Georgia heads to the bars. Straight ahead. With 3 rotations complete, UCLA's dynamic duo of Ani Willis and Jamie Dancher have powered the Bruins with strong showings on bars and on vault. Sarah Patterson and defending champion Alabama have been sparked by freshman Ashley Miles as the Tide tries to roll toward another title. Not as good fortune for Nebraska and Utah, each suffering mishaps on the bars. But the championship ring is still up for grabs. Welcome back to the 2003 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships. And for as solid as Nebraska looked coming out of prelims, many thought the Huskers could give this amazing UCLA team a run for their money. But the question is, Amanda, has the damage that's been done on bars repairable?
Well, Tammy Harris, who had a disastrous fall in the prelims, struggled again in the finals. They did have to count a fall, but to their credit, they came back on one of the toughest events and hit 6 for 6.
But lo and behold, to nobody's surprise, UCLA is in first. Very solid performances on vault and bars.
That's right. They've had strong scores across the board. The lowest score they counted on bars was a 9.85, but keep in mind they're going to one of the toughest events that can make or break this competition, and that's the balance beam.
Fortunately for UCLA, though, and you don't hear too many teams say this, the Bruins honestly feel beam is their best event. Rotation 4 sends Michigan to vault, Georgia to bars, UCLA is on beam, Utah on floor, Alabama and Nebraska on buys. Here's Darren with Nebraska's Dan Kendick.
Dan, you had the home crowd with you, and then you get started on the bars. You have some problems. What did you tell Tammy Harris?
Well, after it was over,
yeah.
I mean, it's just bottom line is she gave it her best today and just was a little shaky. And then when she got shook again, it just really kind of got to her. Just told her it doesn't matter. We love her, and it's just one routine. And it's not what happened now, it's what happens after this. And so just keep her head in it. There's no question that dug us a hole. We got a little work to do now, and we just got to keep fighting back and seeing how this all ends up.
Gentlemen, thank you. Suzanne Yocklin's squad has some demons to exercise here at the Devaney Center. Georgia's only regular season loss came here against Nebraska, where the Gym Dogs posted season-low scores on every event, their first meet of the year. Safe to say a substantially different team here in the championships as we take a look at Cassie Bear on bars.
This is Cassie's senior year, and she'll only be competing bars and beam. Beautiful Tkachev.
She's Georgia's lone competing senior.
Take a close look. She actually has a brace on her right knee. She's had surgery on it before in prelims. She seemed to injure it. If it affects anything, it's the dismount coming up right here. Double tuck, slide hop on the landing.
Cassie out of Evans, Georgia, always wanted to be a gym dog. And so she walked on her freshman year and was awarded a full scholarship last year. As we take a look at her score, 9.825 for Miss Bear. Valerie Kondos Field, her Bruins have surpassed the 198 mark, an unprecedented 5 times, although hit a bit of a snag in prelims on the balance beam. They had to count a fall because Yvonne Tusek and Jeanette Angelin both took spills.
Right here on Jeanette's dismount, double pike landing a little bit short and had to put her hands down. Yvonne lost it on her flight series.
And the Bruins fell below 197 for only the second time since mid-January. Ani Willis in the prelims went 9.85, looking for another solid performance out of this senior Bruin right now.
She's a very cool and calm competitor. And that's a great trait for this event.
Now we'll see how cool and calm Ani is in August, which is when she's getting married. We'll have to check in with her after that.
Switch leap, split quarter.
Ani is a psychology major. And like you, Amanda, she wants to be a teacher. Setting up for a punch front.
Wow, great height. Very solid landing. She's looking very confident. She's a very difficult dismount. She'll be doing 2 back handsprings to a double tuck.
See, look how much the two of you had in common. That was your dismount, too.
That's right. What makes this so difficult is she's got to generate all her speed from these 2 back handsprings starting right there. She's got to get her hands up off the beam. Beautifully done.
Substantially different momentum than, you know, on floor, for example, where you're doing round-off flip-flop and you've got all of that momentum. Mom and Dad, Mark and Margie out for the meet. And a 9.925 for Ani Willis. Nebev Plocky's Michigan club in 4th place at this point, but really considering how thin injuries have made this Michigan team, just getting to the Super 6 has been nothing short of spectacular. Becca Clausen up on vault now.
Doing a handspring pike front half. A little bit sloppy on the form. You can see a leg separation, and of course a step on the landing.
A little pat on the back from coach, a 9.725 for Becca Clausen. Back to bars, and here's Kinsey Rowe. And this girl, one tough cookie. Took a nasty spill in December, working on bars, broke her nose. Here she is in the championship meet.
Beautiful back up rise to handstand. Right to her release move, Tkachev. Watch her hands right here. She hops to a different grip. She's swinging front giants. Heely down to straddle back handstand. She'll back up rise to handstand again, getting ready for a dismount. Very clean double tuck, solid landing.
Suzanne Jocklinen talking about Kinsey. Just talked about, you know, as we mentioned with Teresa Kulikowski, an injury-plagued career, out her entire freshman year with an ACL, missed 8 meets with a foot injury last year. This year, a 9.9 on bars for Kinsey Rowe. 2000 U.S. Olympian Jamie Dancher on beam now for UCLA. And Jamie posting a career best 9.925 on this event back in regionals.
She is such an aggressive athlete, and that's so important on this event. Not holding back, learning with her series, back handspring layout.
Slight bobble. During that regional meet, Amanda, Jamie just basically swept the competition. She won bars, beam, floor, all around. Not a bad day at the office.
Her gym series, straddle jump, straddle jump.
And it's important with those jumps to get full credit, to reach a full split.
Showing 180 degrees is very important. Punch front, right to woof jump. Back handspring swing down. Meeting the gym macro requirement, connecting a leap to a gymnastics skill. Getting ready for the dismount. Just doing 1 back handspring. Right into a 1.5. A little bit short on the landing there.
Jamie's had a perfect 10 on every event this year except this one.
Take another look. Back handspring step down, getting all momentum to 1.5 twist, and you can see her feet slightly in front of her, and she had to take that step back.
Well, the judges a generous 9.9 for Jamie, considering the wobble on the beam and the dismount. Still to come, Kate Richardson is this year's National Beam Champ, and SEC Gymnast of the Year, Chelsea Bird, straight ahead. For complete coverage of the NCAA Championships, log on to ncaasports.com, the official site of NCAA Sports. Well, only 4 teams have won the NCAA Championship in its 21 years. Utah leading the way with 9, followed by Georgia's 5. Alabama claiming its 4th last year. UCLA hoping to make it 4 by the end of this meet. Michigan with a couple of second-place finishes as we check in on Chelsea Kroll on vault.
Performing a Yurchenko full. Very solid landing, but not nearly the same kind of height we've been seeing by a lot of the athletes performing this vault.
Chelsea's actually had several injuries this year, something called compartment syndrome in her leg, which basically is really, really painful shin splints, and a 9.875 for Chelsea Kroll. Let's pick up Jeanette Antolin now in progress on the balance beam.
Getting ready for her required gym series. Switch leap, straddle quarter.
Jeanette's a nice comeback story. She was removed from the team last year by Val Condos Field for disciplinary reasons. But the girls on the team went to Val and said, look, Jeanette's been working out. She really wants to be here. And so Val gave her a second chance. And the result has been Jeanette working very hard. She was recently named by the coaches as the West Region Gymnast of the Year.
Getting ready for a dismount. This is where she struggled in the prelims. She didn't get quite enough rotation. Round off double pike. Little over rotation, which was much better, just a slight hop.
Jeanette at Pac-10s this year scored a career best 39.7 on the all-around and posted 9.85 here on beam. Little hug from coach. Chelsea Bird over on bars for Georgia as the Bulldogs battle Alabama for second place at the moment.
She has great low bar work right here. Stalled her to handstand. As she moves right into a Shaposhnikova up to the high bar and then shoots right back down over the low bar.
The thing that stands out about this routine is the height she gets on her Takachev.
You can see it coming up right here. She throws that bar very aggressively, being able to back up rise to handstand over the bar, heely down as she gets ready for a dismount. Beautiful stick.
Chelsea chose Georgia over Alabama and admired the Tide in the aftermatch until she really got a good sense of how strong the rivalry was between the two schools, and she didn't quite like the Tide so much anymore. 9.925 for Bird. And let's head back over to the beam where UCLA's rookie spark plug is preparing for this event. Kate Richardson getting a little bit of last-minute advice from Coach Val. The freshman claiming this year's national beam title.
Kate is a beautiful beam worker, and without question, she's a rising star for the Bruins.
The whole year I was focusing on doing my job for the team and doing the best I could and enjoying every single moment. And I just had a great year, and this was an awesome way to finish it off.
The Canadian getting set for her beam routine.
She starts it out with a bang right here. Yogi handstand. She's going to step down out of this right into her tumbling series. Very difficult. Layout, layout. Perfect.
Val Condos Field calls Kate the best freshman she's ever coached. Pretty impressive statement considering this Bruins team the last few years has just been chock full of national team members and Olympic team members, not only from the U.S., but from Canada as well.
Gorgeous front aerial, right into a back handspring, swing down.
We mentioned earlier that Kate was recovering from major back surgery back in January of 2002. This surgery required two vertebrae being fused together with bone from her hip. Beautiful gainer full dismount. And just 6 months later, Kate was back at full strength, winning the Commonwealth Games in England. And a round of applause from Dad Charlie. And UCLA avoiding those problems on beam they had in prelims, going clean on beam. Kate with a 9.95. Georgia looking solid on bars, but not able to push the Bruins as they head into beam. The scores after 4 rotations, UCLA leading the 4 teams, completing 3 events, and the Bruins also on top with a 9.888 average as we head down to Darren and Val Condos Field.
Val, you said during the preliminaries that you guys weren't on fire, you were on track. It looks like you've caught fire here in the Super 6.
Well, this is exactly what I'd hoped that we would do. We would come in yesterday and just get the job done and then come out with focus, determination, and it's like I keep telling them, if you want it, you go get it. You got to get it done.
You have the Olympic rotation. You finish on the floor. It's one of your strongest events. How confident are you that you're going to win the national championship?
Oh, I would never go there until the last person finishes, or at least until the fifth person finishes. My job now is to go back in the locker room and make sure they're not letting down their guard. They're staying focused, which I'm sure they are, but it's my job to make sure that that's happening.
And it's Alabama's job to stop the Bruins. The Tide rolls on to Bars. Can they bump the Bruins? We'll check back after this message and a word from your local. Back in Lincoln where, I don't know, Amanda, are we looking at future Super Sixers here?
We just might be.
Check back with us in 10, 15 years or so. Rotation number 5. Sending Georgia to Beeman. Before we go back to action, let's check in once again with Darren Horton, who's got a touching story of a former Gym Dog.
Thanks, Bonnie. One of the most inspiring stories for the Georgia Gym Dogs this season is 23-year-old Talia Vexler. She graduated from Georgia last year. She was a member of their gymnastics team, a 3-time All-American. Shortly after she graduated, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And her story has not only been inspiring to Georgia, but to the entire collegiate gymnastic community. She's gotten thousands of letters all the way from Iowa to Utah down to Florida. And their arch rivals, the University of Alabama, actually raised $1,000 in Talia's name to fight cancer.
Such a touching story, Darren. Thank you. And just before this meet, Talia went through her first round of chemotherapy. Georgia, just to show Talia how much they wanted to support her, made up this nice T-shirt, brought it down to championships, knowing that she would be here. Everybody in her corner, as they are for Sierra Sapinar. Current health issues for the Gym Dogs. She blew out her knee in the practice right before prelims. And Brittany Smith, the young lady replacing Sapinar on balance beam. Smith competing on beam 8 times prior to this performance, but Amanda, still, how much pressure is Brittany putting on herself, thinking, I'm filling in for a veteran like Sierra?
Well, putting a freshman in Sierra's spot says a lot about her as competitors. You can see right there, beautiful flight series. She has to be consistent and confident to fill those shoes, and she has to come out here and know that she can help Georgia to a solid performance on the beam.
The Gym Dogs, much like Alabama, a very young squad, but still year in and year out. Alabama coach Sarah Patterson, Georgia's Suzanne Yokelin, still having high expectations. It doesn't matter how young or old their teams are. They still expect to be at nationals at Super 6 every year.
Wolf jump, standing tuck, very solid. Just getting ready for the dismount. Round off 1.5. Fighting for every 10th there on that landing.
Suzanne Yokelin's got to be happy about that. We know Talia Vexler is. And a 9.875 for Georgia's Brittany Smith. Alabama coming off a bye, Sarah Patterson. The Tide's 21st straight appearance at these championships, and Patterson hoping her squad fares a little better than Utah and Nebraska did on bars. And here is Kristen Sterner, the Tide's only senior.
Opening with a full twisting Tkachev. She's actually going to come back with a regular Tkachev right there. 2 huge releases. She's going to be performing a dismount that we haven't seen in this competition. She's going to switch directions. Right here, double front. Very difficult landing, but she did that beautifully.
Kristen recently honored by the SEC with the Conference Scholar Athlete of the Year award. She has a 3.92 GPA in biology. She dissected that routine, didn't she? I don't remember the last time I used that line. Sterner with a 9.9. Outstanding performance on bars. Another great student in the classroom, Kinsey Rowe, in progress on beam.
She has beautiful lines, showing great flexibility on her switch sleep straddle jump.
Kinsey, one of the select students at Georgia, enrolled in the school's exclusive honors program. She too is a biology major.
Getting ready to dismount. Round off double full. Beautiful.
Kinsey Rowe, the junior out of Houston, Texas. And a score for Kinsey, a 9-9. And Amanda, we hear that Pink Panther music in the background, so we know who's up on floor, right?
That's right, hometown favorite, AJ Lamb. Beautiful double pike.
The hometown girl, always the crowd pleaser. Gymnastics, safe to say, is a family affair for the Lambs. AJ's two older sisters, Alicia and Erica, were also gymnasts here. Sister Mandy is this year's team manager. AJ leads off on 2 events for the Huskers, on vault and on beam. And Dan Kendig just talked about how unselfish a gymnast she is. A lot of times the table setter may get the lowest score because the scores tend to progress upward. AJ never complained.
Last tumbling pass. Front layout, front layout. Beautiful form.
Nebraska hoping to break into the top 3 here at Super 6 for the first time. The best they've ever placed is 4th. Routines like AJ Lamb's certainly contributing. And the score for the senior, a 9.925 for Lamb on Floor X. But the Huskers are not done yet. This year's Floor X champion, Rochelle Simpson, lies ahead as the 2003 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships continues in just a moment. Back at the Devaney Sports Center, where 7,500 fans flooded the turnstiles for the 2003 NCAA Gymnastics Championships. Larissa Stewart, one of Alabama's 7 talented freshmen, up on bars.
Mounting right onto the high bar as she shoots down.
Sarah had said with all the young girls on the team, she really went back to basics this year. She said, I gave them lessons on time management. I gave them daily planners. I work with them on how to study exams.
Getting ready for the dismount. Beautiful double layout.
And she also said many of these young girls have never had to make decisions before. A lot of them are homeschooled, really a limited class time. So we needed to talk to them quite a bit about really studying for the college curriculum. And a 9.9 for Bama freshman Larissa Stewart. Suzanne Yocklin looking concerned, and justifiably so. Chelsea Bird with a fall on beam. And this is the event she didn't start competing at Georgia until this year.
Well, the problem happened on a fairly easy mount. Jumping on, you can see her right shoulder and right arm dropping. And it doesn't take much, only 4 inches. You can see that right foot is not quite on the beam.
And now it's Georgia's turn to feel the heat, knowing they have to be mistake-free. And Chelsea's dad, I'm pretty sure, recognizes that too, Amanda. So Cassie Bear up next for the Dogs on beam, an All-American last year on this event.
This is her final routine of the competition. Starts off showing great strength and flexibility here in the reverse planche.
And this is really where Cassie shines. This is her best event. We mentioned she walked on the Georgia native, and initially she was just hoping to break the lineup, particularly on beam, because that's where she really felt her strong suit was, and it certainly is.
Getting ready for a flight series. Back handspring, back handspring layout. Very nice.
You'll see she's got a little brace on her right knee. That's an injury she's been working through for quite a while. But at this time of the year, everybody's got bumps and bruises.
Well, you'll notice it's not her dominant leg. She's leaping on the other leg. That is very helpful. And if it's going to affect anything, again, it's going to be the dismount. She's doing a round F double full, just looking for a clean landing. Great job.
Suzanne Yocklin calling Cassie the best walk-on in the history of Georgia gymnastics. So you see she's in pain right there. She's hobbling a little bit. Alabama relying on some of its freshmen to keep the heat on UCLA. This is Mari Bear on the bars for the tie.
Giant blind, right into a pike Jaeger.
Mari's from San Jose, California, and Sarah Patterson said the first thing she said when Coach called her was, "How long do you plan on being there? Because I really don't want to come all the way across the country only for you to leave."
Very solid routine.
And Sarah said, "You know what? I've been here for 25 years. I don't think I'm going anywhere." Alabama keeping the heat on Georgia for second and UCLA for the top spot with a 9-9 on bars. Utah's Teresa Kulikowski emerging from the training room after suffering that heartbreaking shoulder injury on bars. Utah closing out this year's championships on vault with Annabeth Eberly.
Yurchenko full, great height. Again, holding that landing, showing everybody she stuck it.
Mom Bindi has something to cheer about, as do the Utes, who are really looking to end this meet on a high note. And a 9.95 for Annabeth Eberly will certainly pave the way for that. As we move to floor, and Rochelle Simpson, this year's national floor champion.
Beautiful second tumbling pass, full front layout right into a double stag jump.
Here's something interesting. In the Nebraska Media Guide, Rochelle talks about the two things she'd like to do after college. One, work for Cirque du Soleil. Two, work for the United Nations. Talk about opposite ends of the spectrum there. Rochelle posturing for the latter, though, is a double major in French and international studies.
You can hear the crowd clapping in the background. There's no better feeling than to perform on floor in front of your hometown crowd. She only has one more tumbling pass to go. Ending with a very difficult whip through to double pike. Great landing.
Rochelle Simpson has had 6 10s this year, 3 on floor. And to put it into perspective, before this year, Nebraska's team had 5 total in the history of the program. And a 9.95 for Simpson. From elation to devastation, Utah senior Teresa Kulikowski realizing her dream of the national championship will not come true. After 5 rotations, Georgia and Utah have completed their 4 events. UCLA, looking at the averages on the Pontiac scoreboard, spreading its lead from Alabama. And the Bruins march back on when we return from their bye. Alabama heading to Beam to determine who will reign supreme at the 2003 Women's Gymnastics Championships. Golf coming up after gymnastics with final round coverage of the HP Classic in New Orleans. We head to our final rotation, UCLA and Alabama on floor and beam respectively, battling for the title. Utah and Georgia are done. Nebraska on vault, Michigan on bars. And the Huskers' A.J. Lamb in her final performance for Nebraska.
She has a huge vault, handspring pike front half. Wow.
What a fantastic way for the senior to go out. Massive support of the Husker faithful, parents in the stands, and a big hug from Coach Dan Pending.
Let's take another look. On the old horse, a typical handspring front vault came in at that angle. You can see AJ is leaving the horse almost at vertical, which not only gives her incredible height, but she surpasses where most vaulters land and gets great distance while dropping in a perfect landing. And a 9.95 for Nebraska senior AJ Lamb.
This also just happens to be the last go-around for UCLA's Malia Jones. Malia, part of the Bruins version of the Fab Five, along with Ani Willis and Donnie Thompson, Kristen Parker. Also, Carly Rabb, who because of a career-ending knee injury is now an undergrad assistant coach for UCLA. 2 championships for these ladies.
She only has 1 tumbling pass to go. Ending with the front handspring front full.
Mom Adrian looking on, and Malia really one of the great showmen on floor. And it's certainly easy to be a great showman when you've got Valerie Kondos Field doing your choreography, as we see Malia Jones with a 9-9 for the Bruins. Nice to see Tammy Harris getting set on vaulting for Nebraska. You remember she had 2 falls on bars. So Dan Kendig said, you know what, take a break from beam and floor, but he's decided to let Tammy go on this final event.
Performing Yurchenko full. Great landing. What a way for her to finish out a competition that didn't start out so well.
The emotions flowing freely for Tammy, because you know after that bar routine she probably thought, I lost this meet for my team. And a 9.875 gives her a little bit of redemption. We'll pick up Kristen Sterner on beam now for her last collegiate performance. The Tide senior going 9.95 to take the Central Regional beam title.
Straddle jump, straddle jump. Showing the required full turn.
Gymnasts make those turns look so easy, but they're just as easy to fall off of. Kristen, a 2-time All-American on this event. She sets up for her dismount.
Doing a very difficult double pike. Looking for a clean landing. A little step to the side, but you can tell by the look on her face she is happy with that performance.
Another senior, strong and solid. Alabama clean on beam, keeping pressure on UCLA, but they will still probably need the Bruins to make a mistake. Kristen Sterner with a 9.9. And that mistake may have come from Kate Richardson. On her last pass, put her hands down for a 9.275.
She's actually doing a double pike. She lands with her legs a little straight. She rebounds back. It'll be a 3/10 deduction for the hands going down, as well as a 1/10 out-of-bound deduction.
Bruins senior Ani Willis on floor, while Kristen Sterner was on beam, and Ani has a unique first pass, a punch front full through to a double back.
Looking for clean landings because they have no room for error. Beautiful double tuck. She comes right back with her second pass. 1.5 through to double stag punch front. Beautiful.
We can't allow UCLA to get through floor without talking about the choreography of Valerie Kondos Field. It really makes UCLA's floor routines unique.
You can just see the dance just fits completely to the music.
Ani, another fine student athlete, a 3.6 in psychology. Would like to be a teacher.
One more tumbling pass to go. Doesn't even look like she's breathing hard.
She's exhausted, but she still finds a way to smile.
Bending with a double tuck. Perfect landing.
Alice could have found a better way to close out her career at UCLA. Mom, Dad, sister Tina, thrilled with Ani's final collegiate routine. A 9-9 for Ani Willis. Well, as this year's championships come to a head, Jamie Dancher hopes to close it out for the Bruins when we return. Welcome back to Lincoln, Nebraska, the 2003 Women's Gymnastics Championships. Nebraska Rochelle Simpson has been such a huge force for the Huskers this year, getting set for a Yurchenko full on vaulting. Mom Ruth, a bit nervous.
Beautiful height off the horse. Wow. I don't think I saw a deduction.
Rochelle has become one of the more prominent all-arounders in the country, and Dan Kednick said it's almost as if she's embarrassed because for her, it's all about team first.
Let's take another look. She gets great height off the horse right here. Beautiful form.
That could be a 10 right there. Nope. Nearly perfect. 9.975 for Rochelle Simpson. Still, however, not enough to break Nebraska into the top 3 for the first time in school history. And as for Alabama, the Tide needs to be flawless on beam to take UCLA. Gina Rice, solid flight series. And Gina needs a 9.8 for the Tide to clinch second place over Georgia.
She's been a key player for this team, not only by leading the young team, but also by delivering very strong routines and big scores across the board.
Gina, though, used to pressure as she was a part of last year's championship Alabama team.
Getting ready for the dismount. Round off double full. Very nice.
Perhaps not a 10, but likely what Alabama needs to clinch second place in this meet. And 1/10 better, a 9.9 for Gina Rice. As for first, it's not in Alabama's control. All Jamie Dancher needs for UCLA is a 9.45.
Opening with a beautiful double layout.
To put some perspective on this, the lowest score Jamie's gotten all year on floor, a 9.95. So unless she falls, not a problem.
Well, you can see why. She has beautiful tumbling, but watch her landings, not giving a 10th right there in that layout step out.
Jamie's signature move. I don't know that there's a name for it, but we call it the Jamie Jiggle. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. There are gymnasts who do floor, and then there are gymnasts who perform. Jamie Dancher is definitely the latter.
She gets ready for her last tumbling pass. Performing a double tuck. Look at that landing. That's what Jamie's known for.
I don't think there's any question. That floor routine was probably enough to nail the title. A 9.975, and the women of Westwood have done it again. We'll talk to UCLA's national champions when we come back.
CBA Sports coverage of the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship is sponsored by Vanilla Coke. Smooth and intriguing, like we said. Singular, the wireless company that fits you best. And by the new Pontiac Grand Prix. Fuel for the soul.
With UCLA's 4th title in 7 years, we may be seeing the forming of a dynasty. Darren Horton is with the champions.
Val Condos Field, your third championship in the last 4 years. Talk about this special group.
They are unbelievably special. I mean, I could go on and on about how great they are. They're great in the classroom. They're great in their lives. They're great in the gym. They are some of the most, I have some of the most respect for them than I do for anyone in the whole world.
And like your last 2 championships, it seems like it came down to the beam once again.
Yeah, we have a way of doing that, don't we? Yeah, we made it interesting, definitely, but there was never a doubt in my mind, ever a doubt in my mind that they wouldn't get it done.
Jamie, what does this mean to you? You finished second in the all-around. We talked about it beforehand. You said it wasn't important to you. You get the team championship.
That's right. We came in here focused with calm confidence. That was our motto, to take it as a normal meet. And this is so exciting. I'm so excited we're going to have another ring. Oh, yeah. We have 5 seniors that just won another national championship. It's so exciting. I don't even know what to say.
And Ani, for you came in as a member of that Fab 5 group, and you get 3 championships. How about that?
That's amazing. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know many people who can say they've gotten 3 championships in 4 years, so I'm pretty excited.
Well, congratulations to the national champions, the Bruins of UCLA.
Darren, thank you. Golf straight ahead. The HP Classic of New Orleans for Darren Horton. And Amanda Borden, I'm Bonnie Bernstein saying so long from the 2003 Women's Gymnastics Championships.